Your heart is in a cage. Your heart is always beating. And just imagine this cage just getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sierra. For those who are new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button just to stay up to date with my latest uploads, as well as hit that notification bell so you guys can be notified as soon as I upload for you. So today I'm going to be talking about a topic that's pretty taboo in the African American community, and that is mental health. Specifically, I want to talk about the stigma around therapy today. I do want to just break down some of those stigmas and see if I can shed a little light and shed a little clarity on the misconceptions about it. And hopefully I do it in a way that is sensitive to others. I do want to take this opportunity to let this be a moment of education. At least from my point, like, and as far as like experience, like I do go to therapy and I feel like I can shed a little light on this topic. And so with that being said, let's just go ahead and get into the video. So I do want to start this video off with a question that I want you to just kind of keep in the back of your head throughout this video. What happens when faith, family, friends, and community, what happens when you feel like that fails you? What do you do moving forward? So like I said, just keep that question in the back of your head. Since this topic was like kind of heavy on my heart, I decided to go to Instagram and just post the question on why do you think it's such a negative stigma around therapy in the Black community. I just want to read off a few of the conceptions and then kind of just give feedback on what I think about that. So the first one, this person said, seems like a therapist doesn't solve any issues, but just make you aware of what it is. I feel like personally, if you've never even given therapy a shot, you have no room to speak on other people's experience. Everybody's experience is totally different in therapy. Like everybody goes to therapy with a different set of goals, and then they have different therapists who work differently. So therefore, everybody's experience is going to be different. I don't feel like a therapist is here to solve your problem. Nobody can solve your problems but you. I feel like a therapist is there to help you resolve some issues that you may have and give you some coping skills to do it in an effective way where you're not affecting everyone else within your circle or community, or just putting too much on other people. A lot of things that we need, sometimes our village can't give it to us. So that's why I feel like sometimes when you have that therapist, that other person to talk to, I feel like that is a good space for you to help you analyze and actually see like what you may be doing wrong as a person in your relationships. And that's just what I think about that. It's super hot. I don't know, because these lights be making me hot, and then I'm drinking hot chocolate, but it's super hot in here. Another response I got was, I'm not, girl, I have an appointment today. Amen. Yes, girl. But here's another one. They're so insecure that being vulnerable to someone else's opinion is their biggest fear. I kind of agree with that. I feel like a lot of times it's the people who don't actually want help are the people who don't want to go to therapy because they feel like they have it all together. I feel like as Black people, we are taught that we have to have like this strong face and we have to be able to just conquer and push through. Like, our ancestors went through this, and that, so we got to be able to stay strong. And at the end of the day, life is not about struggle. We have resources to actually help us get through things and help us become better people. I think that's growth. When you can speak to someone else, a non-biased person, a person who knows nothing about you, nothing about your family, I feel like that's growth to be able to speak and hear what they say and what their practice says about how to go about things. I feel like it's okay to do things differently. It's okay to step out of what you're used to doing. It's okay to not be okay and to be able to talk to a stranger about it. Like, I think it's totally fine. I think in order for us to grow as a race, to grow as a community, to grow as like our culture, We have to change our behavior. We don't have to suffer in silence. We don't have to just endure all this stuff by ourselves. Like, when you internalize all these things, it causes anxiety. It causes depression. And in return, that type of stuff is very hard on your body, and you get sick from that. Headaches, migraines, cancer. Like, you don't want to put all that stress on your body when you can have somebody there that'll teach you coping skills to where you don't even have to feel like that. You know? Or not necessarily feel like that, but how to work through it and overcome it. And to be able to notice it and be like, poof, it's gone. Like, that's it. Here's another one. It says, I think it's about religion and them thinking it's white people shit. Also because they denied access. I do hear that a lot. Like, therapy is for white people. Like, we are all humans at the end of the day. Like, we all have problems. And I honestly think us as black people, we probably have worse problems. We have systematic racism. Like, at the end of the day, we go through so much stuff. We have to literally wake up every day and think about the fact that we're black and we're looked at differently just because of our skin color. Like, it's so much stuff that you may not think is like a big deal that you internalize, but you do. It's okay to get help. All therapists are not good therapists. You have to find the right therapist for yourself. Yeah. So last year around this time, I was having like major panic attacks. I would have to call 911 on the side of the freeway. I was calling out of work. I was on antidepressants. And then my doctor told me, like, maybe you should go to therapy.
So, I don't know if I'm just hot because it's like a hot topic, but I am hot.
But, so I went to the therapist he suggested me to. Of course, she was white. My doctor's white. But she kind of talked to me in like 5 minutes. And she was like, you're totally fine. You just have a hard time adjusting to things. And then I kind of was like, okay, maybe. But then I was still like having these major panic attacks. Like, and then I could just really tell how it was affecting my relationships. I just knew it was time for me to do some research by myself and just figure out how I wanted to move forward. I did find a website, therapyforblackgirls.com, where they are all black therapists, and they cater to black people. They cater to our issues. They're able to relate. I started by just listening to podcasts on there and found myself finding me a therapist on the website, and it's been like this ever since. Like, I feel like she's really engaged, and she really gives me like tools that are able to help me navigate certain situations in my life, as far as my relationships, boundaries, all that good stuff. And so I do just feel like you have to do your research to be able to help yourself. Like, she's giving me like some free classes that you can go to. Now, granted, they're usually not all like African American classes, but that I feel like that's still an opportunity for you to invest in your mental health. But there are plenty of free like group therapy sessions that you can attend. Now, if you are seeking someone who is black, do that research to find them. And there's apps. There's like apps you can text, and then the therapist will talk back to you. It's like, it's no excuse for people not to be putting their mental well-being first. Maybe like as far as like health insurance, people don't have access. But I feel like it's a lot of ways you can go around that. I just feel like people have to actually be dedicated to wanting to help themselves, or if you know somebody like that, take the time to help them or educate them. I don't feel like we should just leave people in the dark about this situation. I hear this just a lot. Like, don't talk about house business with strangers. But at the end of the day, sometimes your house business is the business that has you screwed up. So that's why I was saying, think about that question, like what happens when faith, family, friends, and community fail you. A lot of times it's people's village who may do something to them that may hurt them, and then they're stuck suffering in silence and not being able to say anything because the only people they have around them is their village, you know. Especially if you're young, when you think about it in a religious standpoint, it's kind of just like, well, why would God allow something so terrible to happen to me? And it's like when you're so young, you can't really grasp all that stuff at once. And it's so many little people, like young children, committing suicide. And I just feel like because it's a lack of knowledge that there is actually help for people, like there's help for little people. I feel like parents should talk to their kids more, actually see how they're feeling and what's going on. It's the fact that these people have nobody to talk to and what's surrounding them is negative. I was on Facebook the other day and I just saw someone post a status saying something like talking so negatively about therapy, but have never been to therapy a day in their life. They talked about how they don't think anxiety is real. Anxiety is so real. You won't know. Just imagine your heart is in a cage. Your heart is always beating. And just imagine this cage just getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And like, sure, you can do some yoga or drink some tea to kind of help you calm down. But if you don't have those proper coping skills, you're going to have anxiety attack after anxiety attack after anxiety attack if you're not getting the proper help. And that could drive you crazy alone, feeling like your body is just having this frantic reaction and you don't know what's going on. I feel like we do need to be a little bit more sensitive to the mental health topic. If you speak negatively out loud about it, just imagine how many people you're turning away from actually getting the help that they need. And I think that's sad. And I just feel like people are getting so sensitive about other issues in the world, such as like, you know, the LGBTQ community. Like they want to take the little female symbol off the pads. Always takes the female symbol off, being sensitive to those people. There's just so much in this world that we could just honestly be a little bit more sensitive about and educate ourselves a little more before we actually start speaking out loud. I think as a community, as a whole, we just need to educate ourselves a little bit more. Start that conversation to actually try and go get help. Even if you feel like it's nothing wrong with you or something, I'm sure it's something you may have internalized. Start to journal about it. Start to just do a little bit more research about it. Just think about it. Like, a therapy is kind of just like a doctor for your mental. Like, if you break your leg and you got to go to physical therapy because you got to learn how to rework those muscles in your leg. Like, think about it just like that. You may have stomach aches out of no end and you go to the doctor and they say everything's fine. Like, and then you're just like, well, what is it? Why is my stomach hurting? I'm not allergic to anything. It could be anxiety. Like, one way my anxiety shows up is I break out in hives. Like, and I didn't know that it was anxiety, but you have to take that opportunity to educate yourself on what anxiety is. And then when you start to notice like small little outbreaks of anything, headaches, hives, stomach aches, think about how are you actually feeling at that moment on the inside. Like, what are you thinking about? Is work stressful? All that. So I just know in our community, a lot of times, like, we're not accepted in this world, like, but at the end of the day, I think it's time for us to start this conversation and actually try to help people and educate each other and just start that healing process. Because once you start that healing process, I think we'll be able to grow. I think we'll be able to work better together. I think we'll be able to create our own communities, create our own businesses, and actually be able to work together. But I think that kind of starts with opening up that topic of mental health.
So, I'm burning up. I think it's just, I'm on fire for this topic. These lights are hot. The heat on, got hot chocolate. So, yeah.
I hope this video sparks some type of conversation. If you want to say anything, feel free to drop it in the comments. Share it with a friend if you think it was interesting. I hope that it was interesting. I hope that it kind of like changed some type of perception or added some type of educational element. Go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And then I'll see you guys later.